I remember the way the light hit the kitchen that morning, golden, warm, gentle. It was one of those peaceful Sydney mornings, when you think life might finally slow down. I had just poured myself a cup of tea, when I heard laughter outside. My daughter, Emily, and her husband, Tom, had pulled into the driveway. They were both smiling, too much, almost nervously. "Mum," Emily called as she stepped inside, "you won't believe it, we finally got the car." Her voice was bright, too bright. She kissed my cheek and waved her phone at me, showing a picture of a shiny blue SUV. "That's wonderful, love," I said, smiling. "I didn't know you were buying one." "Oh, it was kind of sudden," she replied quickly. "Tom found a great deal. We just had to act fast." Tom grinned, rubbing his hands. "Couldn't let it slip away, right?" I nodded, still smiling, but something in my chest felt uneasy. Later that afternoon, I went to my bedroom to look for my mother's gold necklace, the one she gave me before she passed. I was planning to wear it to a friend's 70th birthday lunch the next day. I opened the little velvet box in my drawer. It was empty. My hands froze. I checked the others, my engagement ring, my gold bangles, the pearl earrings from my wedding day. Gone? At first, I thought maybe I'd misplaced them. I searched every drawer, every box. Then I opened the small wooden chest at the back of the wardrobe, where I kept my jewelry pouch. Empty. My throat went dry. The room suddenly felt smaller, the air thicker. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the empty box. My hands trembled. I could hear the faint hum of traffic outside, the neighbor's dog barking in the distance. And then it hit me, Emily. She had been here 2 days ago, helping me clean the room. She'd said she wanted to organize things for me, that she was worried I might forget where I kept my valuables. A slow, cold ache spread through my chest. When she came over that evening, I asked her quietly, "Emily, do you know where my jewelry is?" Her eyes flickered. "Why?" "I can't find it," I said. "All of it's gone." She hesitated, just for a second, before forcing a smile. "Mum, maybe you moved it somewhere safe." I looked at her. Really looked. The same eyes I'd kissed goodnight 1,000 times when she was little. But now, they couldn't meet mine. I said softly, "Emily, did you take it?" Her shoulders stiffened. "Mum, please don't make this a big deal." My breath caught. "You sold it, didn't you?" She looked away. "Tom needed the down payment for the car. We thought we'd pay you back." "We thought." My voice cracked. "Emily, those were your grandmother's things. My wedding ring." "Mum, you weren't even wearing them anymore," she snapped. "They were just sitting there. You've got plenty. We'll pay you back, I promise." I stared at her. I could barely hear her voice anymore, just the blood rushing in my ears. For a moment, the kitchen blurred. I saw her as a little girl again, sitting at that same table with jam on her fingers, giggling as I wiped her hands. Now, that same girl was telling me my memories were collateral. "I didn't raise you to think love meant taking," I whispered. She crossed her arms, defensive. "You're overreacting. It's just jewelry." "Just jewelry," I repeated, my voice trembling. "No, darling. It was my life story." She rolled her eyes and walked out, muttering, "We'll pay you back." The door closed. The house went quiet again. I sat alone for a long time. The light had faded. The tea on the table had gone cold. I felt a weight I hadn't felt in years, heavier than grief, deeper than anger. I realized something. Sometimes, betrayal doesn't come from strangers. It comes from the people you love the most. Have you ever felt like love disappears when money gets involved? Tell me in the comments, what would you do if your own child treated you this way? If this story touches your heart, like and subscribe for more real-life stories on Elsie's True Stories. The next morning, I woke up before sunrise. The house was quiet, too quiet. The kind of silence that doesn't bring peace, only questions. I made myself a cup of tea and sat by the window, staring at the little patch of roses I'd planted when Lily was 10. She used to help me water them. She'd giggle when the water splashed her toes. I could still hear that laughter in the back of my mind, but it felt like it belonged to another lifetime. I reached into the drawer and pulled out the small wooden box where my jewellery had always been. Empty. I touched the bottom of it, as if something might still be hiding there. But there was nothing, just the faint smell of sandalwood and thyme. I felt my chest tighten, but I didn't cry this time. I'd already spent enough tears on the things that couldn't be changed. Later that day, I called Lily. She answered cheerfully at first. "Hi, Mum. Everything okay? Did you sell my jewellery?" I asked. There was a pause, a long one. I could hear her breathing. "Mum, listen, we needed the money. Jack's car broke down, and he can't get to work without it. We'll pay you back." Her words hit me harder than I expected. I stayed silent. She continued, almost defensive now. "You don't even wear those anymore, Mum." They were just sitting there. I finally spoke. "They were sitting there because they were memories, Lily. Your father gave me those. They weren't just things." She sighed. "Mum, please. You have a house, you're comfortable. We're struggling. You wouldn't understand." I closed my eyes. "You're right," I whispered. "Maybe I don't understand anymore." That night, I sat at my desk and took out my husband's old pen. I began writing a letter, not to Lily, but to myself. A promise that I would never let guilt or love be used against me again. The next morning, I went to the bank. The clerk, a kind woman in her 50s, recognized me. "Good morning, Mrs. Harris. How can I help you today?" "I'd like to make some changes," I said softly. "To my will." Over the next week, I met with a solicitor and transferred part of my assets into a trust, one that would go to my granddaughter, Emma, when she turned 25. She was only 6 now. With big curious eyes and a heart full of kindness. I wanted to protect that part of her before the world, or money, could twist it. When Lily found out, she called in a rage. "Mum, how could you do this without talking to me first?" "Because you didn't talk to me before selling my jewellery," I replied calmly. She was silent. Then she shouted, "You're punishing me." "No," I said. "I'm protecting what's left of us." There was a long silence again. I could hear her crying, but I didn't rush to comfort her. Not this time. I took a deep breath and said gently, "Lily, I love you. But love without respect is just debt. And I'm done paying." After the call, I sat back in my chair and let the tears come, quiet, steady, healing tears. I wasn't crying for what I'd lost anymore. I was crying for what I'd finally found, my own peace. If this moment hit close to home, give this video a like. It helps more people hear stories like this. Weeks passed quietly. The house felt lighter somehow, as if a heavy fog had lifted. I spent more time in the garden, trimming roses, listening to the birds, letting the sun warm my face. I wasn't waiting for an apology anymore. I wasn't waiting for anything. One morning, I walked to the local market, the same one I used to visit with Lily when she was little. The same narrow aisles, the same smell of baked bread and eucalyptus soap. A woman selling flowers smiled at me. "You've got such gentle hands," she said as I picked up a bunch of daisies. I smiled back. "They've done a lot of living." She laughed softly. "Haven't we all?" It felt good, that small connection. Simple. Human. No expectations, no hidden motives. A few days later, there was a knock on my door. I opened it to find Emma, my granddaughter, standing there with her backpack and a shy smile. "Mummy's working," she said. "Can I stay with you today?" "Of course, sweetheart," I said, kneeling down to hug her. Her small arms wrapped around my neck, warm and trusting. We baked cookies that afternoon. Chocolate chip, just like I used to make for Lily. The kitchen smelled of butter and sugar, the air filled with little giggles as Emma licked the spoon. "Grandma," she said suddenly, "Mummy said you were sad." I froze for a moment. "Oh? And what did she say I was sad about?" "She said you miss Grandpa." I smiled gently. "That's true. I do miss him. But I think he'd be happy today. We are making cookies, after all." Emma beamed, satisfied with that answer. Children always know when love is real, they can smell truth the way we smell rain. After dinner, I tucked her into bed in the guest room. Before sleeping, she whispered, "Grandma, you're my favorite person." Something inside me melted. In that moment, I realized, love doesn't vanish. It just changes homes. A few days later, Lily called. Her voice was quieter this time. "Mum, can we talk?" "Of course." She hesitated. "I'm sorry. About the jewelry. About everything. I didn't know how much it meant to you." There was a long pause before I spoke. "Thank you for saying that. I wish I'd understood earlier." "Sometimes," I said softly, "we have to lose something to understand its worth." She started to cry. "I've been such a fool." I smiled, even though she couldn't see it. "We all are, at some point. That's how we learn." Then I added gently, "You don't owe me anything, Lily. Just live kindly. Teach Emma to value people, not possessions. That's enough." After we hung up, I felt a quiet peace I hadn't felt in years. No triumph, no bitterness, just peace. That evening, I sat on the porch with a cup of tea. The sun was setting over the gum trees, painting the sky with gold and lavender. The air smelled of rain and jasmine. I thought of my husband, his old laugh, his steady hands. I thought of Lily as a little girl, running barefoot through the garden, calling my name. And I thought of Emma's words, "You're my favorite person." For the first time in a long while, I didn't feel alone. They say money can buy comfort, but not connection. And they are right. Because love built on need is fragile, but love built on respect lasts. I looked out over the fading light and whispered to myself. I finally learned, money can't buy love, but it can buy freedom. Then I smiled. A quiet, certain smile. Because I knew, I hadn't lost my family. I'd just found myself. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. And if you want more heartfelt, real-life stories like this, subscribe to Elsie's True Stories, where every story reminds us that even in pain, there is always hope.